Hello, dear friends. Today I'm going to try something completely new. I am going to attempt to sketch portraits of some of my favourite ASMR artists as a way of paying homage to them, I suppose. And I talk through their work and what I like about them, how I admire them. And today's first episode, I say first in case this goes well, but of course there's every chance that it couldn't, is of the ASMR nerd. Of course, Nick is the ASMR nerd, and I will be attempting to flatter him with a pencil portrait. So let's get into it. Let's do our outline first. So I have been a big follower of ASMR for quite a long time. In fact, I started following ASMR around about the time of it being known as hypnosis for sleep. And it was when you used to have guided meditations and people talking you through sleeping and counting down from 10 with different approaches, etc., etc., etc. And I think what always stuck with me was a particular sound of voice that the ASMR nerd has brilliantly. The particular sound of voice is the really strong enunciation of their P's, their Q's, their T's, their S's. I believe he's from Canada. His Canadian accent comes through really nicely. So I've done my guidelines. I've got my eyes here, nose here, mouth here, chin here. So let's start with our eyes. I really hope, Nick, I do you justice here. So something the ASMR nerd does brilliantly, of course, is explore ASMR through video games and PC gaming and whatnot. I think I first started getting into his work with the Skyrim hiking videos. So he would literally just walk through Skyrim, the landscapes of Skyrim, and just take it all in, explore it. And there is a particular video that I think is my favourite of that, where it's like I think it's a Christmas video or something like that, where he's walking through a Christmas modded landscape, and there's just something about the crunching snow sounds, and the lights and the sounds of the fire. Oh dear, I've not done well already. I've put these eyes a bit too close together. I tell you what I'll use is we can come back to that. I'm going to use the glasses here as a framework for the eye width. just walking around Skyrim videos. Lovely, such a great, simple concept, but it's a game that really lends itself fantastically well, of course, to landscapes. I remember playing it on the VR for a while, and it's what made the VR worthwhile for me, really. When you're looking up at a giant binary moonscape in the sky, it's transcendently lovely. Yes, I should have gone with the glasses actually as an outline to begin with, because they help me with the spacing a little better. I'd say they're about that in size, I think. Yeah, we've got roughly the same size. Well, actually, that used to drawing glasses. I mean, what am I saying? I'm not used to drawing at all. I haven't drawn for a very, very long time. I used to love drawing as a child. One of my favourite pastimes. And it's nice to, invest in some pencils again and be able to draw once more. And draw in celebration of some of my favourite ASMR artists. So, that's how I got started with the ASMR Nerds content. But there has been some absolutely amazing videos that he's produced that I've absolutely loved. Here's our friend Mickey, helping us out with our mistakes. Thank you, Mickey. So yes, my favourite, some of my favourite content is his Assassin's Creed history tours. So, the Assassin's Creed games, one thing that they've always been great at is engaging people in history. Now, when I say history, it's a little bit like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure take on history, where it takes some liberties with history and events to fit in line with the narrative of the game. But it's fantastic when it has things like locations and it gives you additional information about them. But one thing that Ubisoft did, which was great, was develop this in conjunction with a number of archaeologists and historians, is to develop this guided history tour of both Assassin's Creed Origins, which is set in Egypt, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is set in ancient Greece. So the amazing thing about these games is that you can set off in these locations, like Alexandria, the lost city of Alexandria, and go and stop at different points of Alexandria, like the library, the Great Library of Alexandria, and read all about them and their history, and see images taken from archives and history books of these locations. And there is just something about the music and well, there's not really any music, it's very light music, I suppose, in the game, in the tour mode, but the sound effects and the the soothing voice of the ASMR nerd that's just divine. It's just divine, basically. Slightly wider part of the nose there. So, for example, there's a video where he's trekking up and down the Nile using a boat, lovely boat, to paddle from one end to another. And the sound of the water mixed with his lovely voice is ASMR at its peak, in my opinion. Lovely stuff. Then, of course, he's branched out recently to reviewing. Well, I say recently, it's been a while now, but he's branched out to do things like keyboard reviews and gaming peripherals, and yeah, he's just great. I think he's also a bit of an avid craft beer drinker, which puts him up there in my estimations even further. I am very much a fan of the craft beer. I enjoyed his video on the game, that brewing game. I can't remember if it's Brewmaster or something like that. I can't remember the name of it exactly, but it actually inspired me to pop out and pick up a home brewing kit. So if you do happen to be watching this, Nick, that is at least one person you have converted to home brewing, and I'm a big fan of it. Okay, this isn't too bad at this point. The last thing I wanted was for this homage to appear like was it Ecce Homo, that painting of Christ that woman in Spain took it upon herself to renovate, and it looked like a monkey Jesus. Yes, I definitely didn't want anything like that to happen. So far, so good. Okay, we've got the outline of the face there now. That's not too bad, I think. Let's get a little bit of detail in here. So, I did actually notice what was quite interesting is that I didn't realise that upon starting my ASMR journey about 4 or 5 months ago now, that you can of course see who subscribes to you based upon and have a look at their other subscriptions. And what was very interesting actually is I've noticed a bit of a trend that quite a large number of subscribers, particularly recently, also subscribe to the ASMR Nerd. Now I find that very interesting because I don't think I've mentioned the ASMR Nerd up until now. I haven't added the ASMR Nerd or attempted to engage with him in any way, shape or form. And of course my content is nothing like the ASMR Nerd's content either, is it? It's reading through history and art and fashion. So it's not as if I'm, viewers who've also watched this have also watched this. I think would work in terms of the algorithm, right? Because Yeah, it's a bit strange to me that subscribers are finding their way to me from the ASMR nerd. So one of the things that I thought might be the case is, like I said at the beginning, one of the things I really value in terms of the ASMR nerd's particular delivery is the use of the plosives and consonants in a very particular way. This lovely, well enunciated consonants and plosive sounds, and it makes me wonder if, for whatever reason, people are just engaging with people who are fans of ASMR are just browsing through ASMR content and they just hear a particular timbre of voice or a particular style of delivery, and that's just what they like. And I guess that it's not much of a surprise then if I have grown up, making it sound like he's a sort of wise wizard of the old ways, and I'm a young, sprightly upstart. I'm probably older than Nick. Yeah, I wonder if I have been influenced, in fact, in my own delivery. The way I deliver ASMR is essentially very similar, but English. Maybe I am Nick's brother from an English mother. You never know. One thing I do know is that I'd love to share a beer with the guy. I think he's just great. He just comes across as such a lovely, calm, soulful individual who really pays attention to detail, and I think there was the occasional vlog from where he was stationed to work. I think there was a time where he was in some sort of forest or by a brook or by a lake or river or something like that, and he was there for his work, and I think his work was something scientific, something research based, so he's got the credentials as somebody who knows their stuff. It might be geology, I'm not sure, but yeah. I'd be very interested to know that if you enjoy the ASMR nerd, and I know that particularly if you're a subscriber of this channel, I know that there are a number of you who are also in fact subscribed to him as well. If you are a subscriber to the ASMR nerd, what is it about him that you enjoy? Should I use a softer pencil for that? Maybe I'll smudge it. Yeah, a little smudge. If in doubt, smudge, right? Yeah, what is it that attracts you to him and his work? Is it the content, or is it the voice? What is it in particular that appeals to you? He of course has long hair, so I need to get this right. I think doing men's hair justice, if it's longer, is quite challenging. Okay, well, I don't think I'm doing too badly at this particular juncture. What do you think? What do we think, guys? Was it okay? Maybe I should have live streamed this, put myself under the additional pressure. supposed to be a mark of the skull there, but that is just way too dark. It looks like I've given him a cowlick, like he's Henry Cavill or something, which I'm sure you wouldn't mind the comparison. Okay. Again, very glad that I'm not completely messing this up. Right, let's do your eyes. Now he's got lovely blue eyes. Lovely blue eyes. With a kind of depth to the exterior of them. Let's get that in there. Okay, let's make sure we get it the reflected life correct as well. We don't want his eyes to be lifeless, do we? Nice light. There you go. So what else do I like about the ASMR nerd? I think there is really something in the ability to be enthusiastic about topics or a subject, yet not be overwhelmingly intimidating or over enthusiastic. I think one of the challenges that some people have, particularly in certain subcultures or niche hobbies, is that sometimes they can get a little carried away with the subject of their passion, and as a result kind of intimidate newcomers. People don't necessarily like or enjoy. I remember one of my first ever experiences of Warhammer. Was being told about it by a friend, and I was very eager to get into it because it sounded great. So I popped into the shop, and I just remember being absolutely terrified. It was, are you orcs or elves? Are you this? Are you that? Is it this expansion? Is it this expansion? Etc. 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 And it was just so disarmingly terrifying that I kind of ended up just buying a single figure. I had no idea what it was, what it did, what it was for, and just kept it in its packaging. And then my parents discovered it was made out of lead, so they made me take it back. But you can understand where it comes from, I think, in people's passion to want to share their passion. They can over-egg it a little bit, basically. They can over-egg it and become terrifying. But Nick has this wonderful quality of being very enthusiastic about a topic, yet not coming across as intimidating or exclusive. Everything that I watch him explore, I mean, I've never really fully got into PC gaming, but I feel tempted to get into PC gaming because of the ASMR nerd, right? Like I mentioned earlier, brewing, getting into brewing. I can feel inclined to do so because he makes me feel empowered to want to check it out, to do it. And that's such a fantastic quality in an individual, if somebody is able to make something seem accessible and engaging and not intimidating or fretful or fearful. Then we need more of those people on the planet, people who can kind of build bridges rather than turn people away because of they're not part of a tribe, or they don't get this, they don't get that, etc. etc. my patience to grow my hair this long. Props to you, Nick. So I'm going to work with the differing shade on the image. I don't know if this is working or not, but you get the idea, you get the impression that I'm going for. Okay, well, so far so good. I don't think this is a terrible job. I don't think this is insulting. So if you happen to be looking at this, Nick, I do hope you like what I've done. I promise to invest in better eraser material, because this is this Mickey Mouse eraser head is just not cutting it. Let's get rid of our outlines here. So I think there is legs in this to what I'm doing. I have so many ASMR artists that I love and appreciate, really value, really respect, that I'd love to draw more, to do more of this. It's an incredibly mindful activity, actually. Talking of my own experience, in fact, one of the best things that this channel has offered me personally is this wonderful ability, to take time for myself. Actually, one of the reasons I started the channel to begin with was just, one, to give ASMR a go because I've loved it for so long, but two, just give me the opportunity to read. You know, if I gave myself a very formal opportunity to read books and to read history and explore art and draw and all of these things I've always wanted to do creatively, if I simply gave myself the opportunity to do it, but found a way to make it official, I suppose, via a channel, then so be it. And you know, and this is part of my story. I suppose all of these people that I draw are part of my story. I owe a lot of my nourishment and fulfillment recently, my kind of second coming, as it were, as I awaken to the merits of taking time for myself and exploring things for myself. I have a lot to thank ASMR artists for in that. This looks a bit heavy, this pencil. I want to find a way of doing some shading, bring a little bit of context, a bit of not context, a bit of contour and shade and light. I remember, of course, the back in the day, whenever I used to draw, I used to find that this bit was the bit that I'd usually start ruining everything. So let's hope I don't. Let's bring back our old friend, Mr. Smudge. There we go. And of course, we've got a little bit of shadow underneath the glasses there. There he is, Mr. Smudge. Let's colour in your glasses, Nick. I've also been introduced to some games that I would never have necessarily explored before, thanks to the ASMR Nerd channel. Things like The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, What Remains of Edith Finch, and that indirectly brought me on to discovering Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, which is absolutely one of my favourite games ever, for reasons beyond purely the game and the gameplay, right? So the game is set in Shropshire, which is a place that, if you would have seen my painting a landscape video, I painted Cardingmill Valley, which is in Shropshire, and it's where my grandmother lives and some other members of my family, and it's a truly beautiful part of the world. And some of my fondest childhood memories are in Shropshire, so the fact that the game's set there is, to begin with, a big stepping stone to loving it. But the soundtrack, Jessica Curry's soundtrack of Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, it is just absolutely incredible. So even if you don't want to play the game or haven't got the chance to play the game, I wholeheartedly recommend just going to Spotify or something and checking out the soundtrack, because it is a good one. It's kind of like choirs and beautiful soundtrack, and it is so good. It is so good. Maybe that should be one of the first things you do right now after this video. Just go and stay with me for a little bit longer. We're nearly done, but then go and check it out. Check out the Everyone's Gone to the Rapture soundtrack by Jessica Curry. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I've read somewhere that smudging is cheating when it comes to adding texture and shade to a drawing, but I'm a bit of a novice, so don't blame me, right? I also really appreciate the eye for detail that the ASMR nerd has around things like just simply branding, right? His thumbnails have such a distinct, bright, eye-catching quality to them. They look great. And, his intro with the kind of booting up screen is great. It just feels like such a classy production, every single one of his videos. I'm also very jealous of the background of his video. There are so many ASMR artists out there that I just think, how do you have such a beautiful, well lit space in your home for creating videos and I've got a very small house, which means that most of my content is recorded on my dining table, and I have to force everybody else in the house to leave me alone, to just get out while I use it. And as you can sometimes hear, as much as I try to hide it, there is quite a lot of passing traffic noise. I live in actually quite a quiet part of town, but it seems that literally whenever I hit the record button to start a video, it's almost as if the town planners of Epping say, right, he's doing it again, off you go guys, let's queue you up and send you all along your way to make this video as unrelaxing as possible. I think that I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth and know when to quit. I am quite happy with this. So, just a little bit of context there. So there we have it. Nick, the ASMR nerd. I hope you've enjoyed this draw along. I've very much enjoyed it too. Nick, if you happen to be watching, I apologise, or am appreciative